If you cannot control your emotions, you will never reach a position where people fear disrespecting you, because emotional reactions give others a sense of control over you. The moment someone realizes they can provoke you, trigger you, or make you lose composure, they stop seeing you as a threat and start seeing you as predictable. And predictability is the opposite of power. It tells people that your behavior can be manipulated, that your reactions can be engineered, and that your boundaries are not as strong as they appear. Most people misunderstand this. They believe that showing anger, raising their voice, or reacting instantly will make others respect them. In reality, it does the opposite. It reveals that you are emotionally accessible, that you can be pulled into conflicts on demand. And when people see that, they no longer hesitate to cross lines because they know exactly what will happen next. There is no mystery, no consequence beyond a temporary reaction. True control begins when you resist that instinct to react. When someone disrespects you, there's always a moment, small but powerful, where you can choose your response. Most people lose the game in that exact moment. They rush to defend themselves, to prove a point, to restore their ego. But the one who pauses, who remains still, who does not immediately give away their reaction, shifts the entire dynamic, because now the other person is left uncertain. They expected a reaction, but instead they are met with silence or calm observation, and that uncertainty begins to create discomfort. Discomfort leads to caution. When people cannot predict how you will respond, they become more careful in how they approach you. They start to measure their words, their tone, their actions, not because you demanded respect, but because you created an environment where disrespect feels risky. This is where fear begins, not from aggression, but from control. There is also a deeper layer to this. Emotional control allows you to separate your ego from your strategy. When your ego is in control, every small act of disrespect feels like a battle you must win immediately. But when you operate strategically, you realize that not every situation requires a response, and not every response should be immediate. Sometimes the strongest move is to delay your reaction, to respond when it has maximum impact rather than immediate satisfaction. This creates a sense of calculated behavior, and calculated behavior is far more intimidating than impulsive reactions. People who master this become difficult to read. Their calmness is not weakness, it is restraint. And restraint suggests that there is more beneath the surface, something controlled, something intentional. This perception alone can shift how others treat you, because people naturally test those who seem reactive, but they hesitate around those who seem composed and deliberate. Another important aspect is consistency. One moment of control is not enough. You must repeatedly show that you are not easily triggered. Over time, this builds a reputation. People begin to understand that provoking you does not give them power, it gives them nothing. And when there is nothing to gain from disrespect, the behavior starts to disappear. At the same time, emotional control gives you the ability to choose precise responses when needed. When you do respond, it is not out of anger, but out of intention. And this difference is immediately felt. A calm, direct response carries more weight than a loud, emotional one. It signals that you are in control not only of yourself, but of the situation. And once people realize that they cannot control your reactions, cannot predict your behavior, and cannot provoke you into weakness, they begin to understand that disrespecting you is not safe. People rarely disrespect you suddenly. It grows slowly, almost invisibly, from the signals you allow. The truth most avoid is that respect is not given based on your intentions. It is based on your standards and the boundaries you enforce. If you tolerate small acts of disregard, people subconsciously register that as permission. They test you in subtle ways, interrupting you, dismissing your opinions, delaying their commitments to you. And each time you let it slide without consequence, you teach them how to treat you. This is not cruelty. This is human nature responding to perceived strength and weakness. To make people think twice before disrespecting you, you must understand the silent language of behavior. Words alone do very little. You can say you deserve respect, you can demand it, but if your actions contradict your words, people will always believe your actions. This is where most fail. They rely on explaining themselves instead of demonstrating standards. A person who truly commands respect doesn't argue about it, they embody it. They do not chase approval, they do not over-explain, and they certainly do not tolerate repeated boundary violations. One of the most powerful shifts you can make is learning the art of controlled response. When someone disrespects you, your instinct might be to react emotionally, to prove a point, to win an argument, or to defend your ego. But emotional reactions often weaken your position because they show that the other person has control over your state. Instead, the strongest response is often calm, measured, and sometimes even silence. Silence, when used correctly, creates tension. It forces the other person to reflect, to question, and often to feel the weight of their own behavior without you saying much at all. Another critical element is consistency. You cannot enforce boundaries one day and ignore them the next. Inconsistent behavior confuses people and invites further testing. If something crosses your line, address it the first time, calmly, clearly, and without aggression. You don't need to be loud or dramatic. A simple shift in tone, a direct statement, or even withdrawing your time and attention can send a powerful message. People value what feels scarce, and your attention is one of your most valuable assets. When you give it freely to those who disrespect you, it loses its value. You must also detach from the need to be liked by everyone. This is where fear of disrespect often begins. The desire to maintain harmony at the cost of self-respect. But understand this clearly. The more you try to please everyone, the less seriously people take you. Respect and likability are not always aligned. In fact, those who are deeply respected are often selective with their approval. They do not bend easily, and because of that, people think twice before crossing them at a deeper level. Making people fear disrespecting you is not about intimidation, it's about clarity. It's about making your standards so clear through your behavior that others instinctively adjust. They know there are consequences, not necessarily punishment, but distance, withdrawal, or loss of access to you. And that alone is enough. Because in the end, people don't fear loud reactions. They fear losing something valuable. Become that value, and disrespect will no longer find an easy place in your presence. Most people believe power comes from what you say or how you react in the moment, but real dominance is built long before the moment of confrontation ever arrives. It is built through perception, through the quiet signals you send over time that define who you are and what you tolerate. By the time someone considers disrespecting you, they have already formed a judgment about your limits, your confidence, and your willingness to enforce consequences. And if that perception is weak, no reaction in the moment will fully repair it. This is why you must understand the importance of image and presence. Not a superficial image, but a consistent identity that people cannot easily challenge. The way you carry yourself, the way you speak, the way you enter and exit conversations, all of these create a psychological impression. People are constantly reading these signals, even if they are not aware of it. If your presence feels uncertain, hesitant, or overly eager to please, it invites subtle disrespect. But if your presence feels grounded, calm, and self-contained, it creates a natural barrier. One of the most powerful aspects of presence is restraint in communication. People who talk too much, explain too much, or reveal too much about themselves often lose control of how they are perceived. The more you expose, the more predictable you become. And predictability makes you easier to challenge. On the other hand, when you speak with intention, when you choose your words carefully and leave space in between, people are forced to pay more attention. They begin to assign weight to your words because they are not given freely. There is also strength in selective visibility. You do not need to be involved in every discussion, every argument, or every opportunity to prove yourself. In fact, constantly inserting yourself into situations can lower your perceived value. The more available you are, the less significant your presence becomes. But when you are selective, when you engage only when necessary, and withdraw when something does not meet your standards, you create a sense of scarcity. And scarcity naturally increases value. Another layer of this is emotional detachment from external validation. If your sense of worth depends on how others treat you, you will constantly chase respect instead of commanding it. This chase is visible. People can sense when you are trying too hard to be acknowledged, and it reduces your authority. True control comes when your self-worth is internally anchored. You do not need approval, and because you do not need it, you are not easily manipulated by the threat of losing it. Over time, these elements combine to create a reputation, and reputation is one of the strongest forms of power. When people hear about you before they even interact with you, when they observe your consistency, your calmness, your selectiveness, they begin to form expectations. They start to believe that disrespecting you will not lead to drama, but to distance, to exclusion, to a loss of access. And that belief alone changes behavior. You are no longer someone they test. You become someone they calculate around. There is a moment that separates those who are respected from those who are easily dismissed, and is not during confrontation, but in how they handle consequences. Most people talk about boundaries. They express discomfort. They even warn others. But when the line is crossed, they hesitate. They give second chances, third chances, endless explanations, hoping the other person will understand. And in doing so, they destroy the very boundary they tried to create. Because a boundary without consequence is not a boundary at all. It is merely a suggestion. If you want people to think twice before disrespecting you, you must become someone who follows through. Not with emotion, not with aggression, but with quiet, consistent action. When someone crosses a line, your response should not be about proving a point. It should be about reinforcing your standard. And sometimes that means removing your presence, your attention, or your cooperation without drama. This is where real power begins, when your actions speak so clearly that words become unnecessary. Understand this carefully. People do not fear anger. They adapt to it. They do not fear loud reactions. They learn to manage them. But they do fear loss. Loss of access, loss of connection, loss of opportunity. When your presence adds value and that value is withdrawn the moment respect disappears, you create a natural consequence that requires no argument. It forces people to associate their behavior with what they lose, not just what they hear from you. This requires discipline because the instinct will always be to explain yourself, to make sure the other person understands why you are stepping back, why you are changing your behavior. But over-explaining weakens the impact. It turns your action into a negotiation, and negotiations invite resistance. Instead, your behavior should be clear enough that it does not require explanation. When someone disrespects you and you calmly reduce your availability, your engagement, or your energy toward them, the message becomes undeniable. There is also a deeper psychological effect at play. When consequences are immediate and consistent, people begin to associate you with structure and certainty. They know exactly what happens when they cross a line, and that predictability and consequences creates caution. But if your responses are inconsistent, sometimes reacting, sometimes ignoring, sometimes forgiving, people will continue to test you, not out of malice, but because uncertainty invites experimentation. Another mistake many make is enforcing boundaries emotionally rather than strategically. They react in the heat of the moment, making decisions driven by anger or ego, only to reverse them later. This inconsistency destroys credibility. Instead, your actions must feel deliberate. Even if you feel anger, your response should come from clarity. Take a step back if needed, but when you act in alignment with your standard, not your temporary emotion. Over time, this builds something far more powerful than a single reaction. It builds a pattern. And people respect patterns. They learn that you are not someone who can be pushed indefinitely, not someone who can be taken lightly. They begin to adjust their behavior not because you demanded it, but because your actions made the consequences real. And once your presence becomes something that can be lost the moment respect disappears, people will no longer risk treating you casually. There is a subtle but powerful shift that happens when you stop trying to be liked and start focusing on being respected. And most people never fully make that transition. They continue to behave in ways that secure short-term approval, agreeing too quickly, tolerating small acts of disrespect, laughing off things that quietly bother them, without realizing that every one of these moments is teaching others how to treat them. Respect is not granted because you are kind. It is granted because your behavior signals that your standards are not negotiable. To make people think twice before crossing you, you must first eliminate the need for constant validation. The more you depend on being accepted, the more you will compromise in moments that matter. And people can sense this. They may not consciously analyze it, but they feel it in your hesitation, in your tone, in your body language. When someone knows that you are afraid to lose them, they understand that your boundaries can be pushed. But when you become internally secure, when your sense of worth is no longer tied to someone else's approval, you naturally project a different energy. You become harder to manipulate, harder to pressure, and far less likely to tolerate subtle disrespect. This does not mean becoming cold or distant. It means becoming selective. Not everyone deserves the same level of access to your time, your attention, or your energy. One of the strongest signals of self-respect is restraint, the ability to hold back rather than give freely to everyone. When people realize that your attention is earned, not automatically given, they begin to value it more. Scarcity creates importance, and when your presence is not easily accessible, it becomes something people are careful not to lose. Another key element is emotional control. The person who reacts impulsively reveals too much. They show where they are sensitive, where they can be triggered, where they can be influenced. But the person who remains composed, who takes a moment before responding, who chooses their reactions instead of being ruled by them, that person becomes unpredictable in the best way. And unpredictability, when combined with calmness, creates a quiet form of authority. People become cautious, not because they fear an outburst, but because they cannot easily read or control your response. You must also understand the importance of silence. Not every situation requires a reaction, and not every comment deserves your energy. Sometimes the strongest move is to say nothing at all and simply observe. Silence forces the other person to sit with their own behavior. It removes the immediate feedback they might expect, and in that absence, they begin to question themselves. This is far more powerful than reacting emotionally because it shifts the focus back onto them rather than keeping it on you. Consistency ties all of this together. If one day you tolerate something and the next day you reject it, people will not take your standards seriously. But if your behavior is steady, if your reactions, your boundaries, and your level of engagement remain aligned over time, people begin to understand that this is not temporary, not emotional, but who you are. And once that understanding is established, respect follows naturally. At its core, making people fear disrespecting you is not about intimidation. It is about clarity. Clarity in your standards and your behavior, and in the consequences that follow when those standards are ignored. When you no longer chase approval, when you control your emotions, when you use silence strategically, and when you remain consistent, you create an identity that people cannot easily challenge. And once your self-respect becomes unshakable, others will think twice before risking it. There comes a point where respect is no longer something you try to earn in every interaction, but something you carry as part of your identity. And this is where most people fall short. They treat respect as situational. They act strong in one moment and weak in another, firm with some people and flexible with others, confident when it's easy and uncertain when it matters. But true authority is not built in isolated moments. It is built in the consistency of who you are across all situations. If you want people to fear disrespecting you, you must become internally aligned. Your thoughts, your words, and your actions must reflect the same standard. Because the moment there is a gap, when you say one thing but tolerate another, you give others permission to test you. People are always observing, even when it seems like they are not. They notice what you allow, what you ignore, what you forgive, and what you confront. And from these observations, they create a mental model of your limits. This is why self-discipline becomes the final and most important layer of power. Not discipline in the obvious sense of hard work or routine, but discipline in behavior. The ability to stay aligned with your standards, even when it is uncomfortable, even when it costs you something, even when walking away feels like a loss. Because in reality, every time you compromise your standards to maintain comfort, you lose something far more valuable, your authority. There is also a deeper truth that many avoid. Not everyone will like you when you begin to operate this way. Some people will resist it. They will test you more, push harder, or even distance themselves. But this is not a negative outcome. It is a filter. It removes those who are only comfortable with a version of you that was easier to control or easier to take advantage of. And what remains are people who understand your value and adjust their behavior accordingly. Another important factor is patience. Respect is not always immediate. When you change your behavior, especially if you were previously more tolerant or accommodating, people may not take it seriously at first. They may assume it is temporary, emotional, or inconsistent. This is where most people fail. They revert back too soon. But if you remain steady, if your actions continue to reinforce the same standard over time, perception begins to shift. Slowly but powerfully, you also need to let go of the need to win every interaction. Power is not about proving yourself right in every moment. In fact, constantly trying to win arguments often weakens your position. It shows that you are still seeking validation through dominance in conversation. True strength is quieter. It chooses when to engage and when to step back. It understands that not every battle is worth fighting because your value is not determined by a single exchange. And perhaps most importantly, you must become comfortable with distance. The willingness to walk away, not dramatically, not emotionally, but decisively, is what ultimately defines your level of self-respect. When people know that you are not afraid to remove yourself from situations that do not meet your standards, they begin to treat you differently, because now the risk is real. The consequence is not just a reaction, it is your absence. At this level, respect is no longer enforced, it is expected. Not because you demand it, but because everything about your behavior signals that anything less will not be tolerated. And when that message becomes clear, consistent, and undeniable, people no longer test your limits, they adjust themselves before crossing them. And that is when respect stops being something you chase and becomes something others are careful not to lose.